And one of the speakers is this little good old boy from, I think it was like Oklahoma or Arkansas, named Bob Jones. Bob Jones walks up on stage, grabs the microphone, interrupts worship, which I thought was super rude. But I told you, I judged everything. He interrupts worship, and this is exactly what comes out of his mouth. I just want y'all to know that an angel has entered the building, and his name is Breakthrough. And he's come here from Nigeria, where he's been for the last 10 years, and he's come and he's brought a whole bunch of his angel buddies with him. And he's going to be traveling around North America for the next 2 years looking for hearts that are turned to the Lord. So we're just going to keep on praising Jesus and let Breakthrough and his buddies do whatever they want to do. Thank you very much. And he walks off the stage. 2,000 people erupt. Breakthrough is here! The drum solo starts. And I am literally the last person left with a brain in the room. Everybody, I'm looking around and I'm like, so nobody's going to vet this thing, right? Just because he said so, we're all going to believe it, right? This is where my mind works. And I'm just like, this is why they write articles about you people. You know what I mean? This is what the Bible Answer Man is talking about. Like, this right here. And I'm in the back and I'm like, I hate this. And so I remember thinking, at least they're praising Jesus. So I'm like, I know this isn't like a cult. And I know it's not satanic. So at least they're praising Jesus. So I tell you what, I'm going to be the calm one. And I'm going to close my eyes and I am just going to worship God in a normal way. And I will be a pleasing offering to him. That's how I viewed what I was doing. So I close my eyes in the back. And I'm far away from everybody because I don't want to be near anybody. And it's about 5 minutes go by, and after about 5 minutes, somebody walks right in front of me. And I could, you know how you can tell when somebody just is in your space, even with their eyes closed. And I remember thinking, who the heck is there's all this room, and I open my eyes and there's nothing there. And so then I close my eyes, and that's when I officially become one of the crazy. So I'm standing here. So if I'm right about here, he is standing about where Gordon is standing. He's standing stock still, looking in that direction. And I can only see him with my eyes closed. Now, what do I see? What I see is the perfect outline of a man. And the best way I can describe it, because I know you're asking, how do you see things with your eyes closed? The best way I can say it, if you've ever taken a black sheet of construction paper and taken a black marker and drawn on it, it's like a blacker black. Mm-hmm. That's what it looked like. It was a blacker black that was a man, arms and everything. And I remember opening my eyes and there's nothing there. I close my eyes and there's this figure. And I'm like, what the heck is that, right? And I'm thinking, this is God, because I'm looking at it with my eyes closed, and I'm thinking it must be residue from the lights. You know, when you close your eyes, sometimes there's stuff you see and all of a sudden though, he turns and walks right up to me, and he gets right here, up in my grill. Mm-hmm. And I remember I was kind of leaning away from him because at this point I can't. It's not that I just see him; I feel him. I feel this presence, and I've never gotten a static shock in church before. I don't feel anything in church, and this I'm feeling. And what it is, it's he's the most intense individual I've ever encountered in my life. And I'm looking him up and down, and he's standing in front of me. He's about 2 inches taller than me, and his arms are at his side, hands clenched, and his whole body is vibrating with energy. It's right, and he's right here, and I'm just dude, chill. You know, I'm leaning away, and I'm bumping into the back of my seat, and it was just all I'm what is going on, right? And I remember there's a very conscious thought that I had. I said, I don't know what this thing is, but it wants to break through a wall or something. And as soon as I had that thought, I thought of that good old boy from Oklahoma. And I knew, I've known anything in my life, that guy was telling the truth. That angel had actually come to the building. And that angel, named Breakthrough, was standing right in front of me. Now, I'm a college professor. This doesn't happen to people like me. It happens to the weirdos who go to these conferences. It doesn't happen to me. But it's happening to me, right? And so what do? I'm like going back to like evangelical Sunday school. Okay, angel encounters. What do they do, right? I'm like, all I remember is they're freaked out. Check, got that. I'm trying to remember, I'm like, I don't know angel etiquette. I don't know who speaks first in this relationship. Like, I don't know what to do, right? And then all of a sudden, he speaks to me, and it wasn't like an audible voice. It was just the only thing that I could hear. It's the best way I can describe it. But he speaks to me, and he says, "Are you ready?" I have no idea what he's talking about. But I knew enough to know that if an angel ever asks you a question, you just say yes. Just go with it, all be explained. So I said, yes. He says again, "Are you ready?" That's exactly how he talked. I was like, yes. And then I see his like shadow hands come up. And they come up here, and I'm like, he's grabbing my head. And he screams in my face, "Are you ready?" And I said, yes. Ready for what? What are you talking about? And he just like smoldered at me for like 10 seconds. And he says, "Make that movie." And then he moves away. I think the thought, wait, don't go. Instantly he's back in front of me. But this time the presence was completely different. It was the most loving, tender presence I've ever felt in my life. And I remember standing there, and I just wanted to fold into him. Because it was like, I was so drawn to the love. And I remember, and I didn't need anything. I said wait, because this was just a really cool thing that was happening to me, and I didn't want it to end. And he's back in front of me, and I saw his hand reaching for mine, and he whispered, but his whisper was louder than when he screamed at me. And he said, "What do you want? What do you need? I'll stay with you all night if you need me to." And I remember feeling a little foolish, because I'm like, I don't need anything. I don't want anything. I just don't want this really cool experience to end. I also became very aware that there are 2,000 people in this room who are desperate for breakthrough in their life. And he's just given himself to me for however long. Little did I know that what was actually happening was a commissioning of sorts. If you've ever wondered, if you've watched my movies, if you've ever used them to they carry a spirit of breakthrough on them. It's nothing that I have, it's just with the mantle that's on them, right? I didn't know any of that at the time. I'm just having this encounter. And I remember we kind of sat there for about a minute, and I was like, well, I guess you can go now. And then he goes away. So I come out of this thing. My wife turns to me, and I'm kind of like white as a ghost. And I said, "Babe, something just happened to me. I need to go be by myself for a minute." Her response to me was not, "Oh, that's so wonderful." It was, "You're going to go through the fire tunnel, right?" "Babe, I'll go through your fire tunnel, but right now, I need to go be by myself because something really just happened to me." So she said, "Okay." So she thought I was trying to get out of the fire tunnel. So I go up to the balcony, and I find the most secluded spot that I can. And I am no longer like the judgmental jerk who hates everything about this place. I'm a scared, little 8-year-old boy at this point. I'm wondering if I'm going crazy. And I remember I find some far corner, and I just slide down, and I sit on the ground, and I said, "God, what are you doing to me?" And I get the first vision that I've ever had in my life, and it comes up like a movie, ironically enough. And there was a picture of a father and a son in a field of wheat with baseball gloves. If you've ever seen the movie The Natural, with Robert Redford. At the end of that movie, when he plays catch with his son, I just gave it away for those who haven't seen it. That's the scene that comes up. And I'm staring at this thing, and nobody knew that my greatest memory as a kid is playing catch with my dad. That was my ultimate memory as a child. It's because my dad was an artist. He was also a college professor, but he was a working artist, and he had a studio in the garage. And inevitably, I'd always go out there, almost every day. So Dad would go play catch, and pretty much no matter what he was doing, he would stop. He'd get off. He was a potter. He'd get off his wheel and he would go outside and we'd play catch. I'm 8. I don't need more than 10 minutes. I'm gonna get bored. But to me, it was like your dad. Like, it's my dad, right? And he actually wants to spend time with me. So that was like stored away as like the epitome of childhood for me. And this is the picture. When I ask God what he's doing, this is the picture he gives to me. And you have to remember where I'm at. I don't trust God as far as I can throw him.